Great to have you.
Thank you.
So, I just introduced you as the Managing Director at Accenture. Maybe you can start off by telling us, what does your regular day look like? I can imagine pretty busy. Is this a nice variety once in a while to finally be at an exhibition again?
Playing around with that cool software that Magnus just showed. I mean,
oh, really?
That's my job. I lead advisory at Accenture Industry X. It's all about the product and simulating that, helping customers to build a better product. That's my job.
So what are we going to be talking about here today?
Well, it's about cloud. I mean, you saw all this great software here, but let's be honest, it's a little bit of a headache to implement it, to get it going. So cloud is our answer, our recommendation, how to make it happen very quickly, very fast, in a fast-changing environment.
So I guess we can say that cloud has become a key technology for the transformation of organizations across all industries. So what drives the need for cloud in product development?
Well, product development today is a combination of a lot of different disciplines. Products become much more complex. They integrate, they have software in there, they have a cloud experience, you have an iPhone app, all to combine into brilliant user experience. Now, for product development, it's a full load of things on top of normal engineering, of normal topics that you have to deal with. So product requirements going up, customers are more demanding, competition gives you heat, so you have to stay on top of that game. Now, with all that brave new world, you also face increasing regulation, traceability, the proof that you fulfill all regulations for all engineering decisions is key. So taking care of all these decisions all day long while being fast and smart is key. Last but not least, I mean, you try to attract talent. They want to have the best tools in no time. So for me, it's also a key component to attract the right people, the right talent.
All right. And if we look at what drives the need for product, that's what we just talked about basically. But I know that Accenture has set out its purpose to deliver on the one side, human ingenuity and also technology. And obviously engineers clearly bring the human ingenuity here. So what is the product, the promise basically of the cloud for engineering?
It's actually simple. Speed. Speed is of the essence. I mean, the stuff that we just saw there, it's great engineering. The key thing is to be fast out in the market, to be faster than the competition. Think of overtaking your competitor with a brilliant product that actually works and drives. Secondly, you have to be flexible, adapt to market conditions. Your competitor comes out with a feature, you want to overtake him again. So you have to adapt quickly, come up with new solutions, and really stitch it together to a really cool product that works. Once you've done that, well, you want to scale very quickly globally. I mean, you have a team in Shanghai who's idling, well, you want to have them on your engineering team. You have production facilities somewhere in India, well, use them. Now, how arrange that in real time, how to really bring it to life, that is the key requirement today, not to lose track and at the end of the day, waste money.
So it all comes down to three things at the end of the day, if I understand that correctly. New products and business models on the one side, if the efficiency increases, but IT costs also go down at the same time.
Absolutely.
Maybe you have some real life examples of how this has worked for your clients?
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned the last point about the IT cost decreases. Yes, it's important, but it's only 5% of the entire story.
Okay.
Yes, the servers are cheaper, what have you, but that misses the point. I mean, this speed, this faster time to market is key because you're really extending the lifetime when you can monetize your product. And building on that, you then look at new business models with revenue increase that really change your business, perhaps from a simple widget into something that is a service to the customer. Let me give you some examples. IT cost reduction. We have a large-scale German automotive manufacturer who recently migrated its entire production infrastructure into Azure Cloud. And I mean, this is the crown jewels of an automotive production company. Guess about that. Well, more amazing was the internal IT announced to its internal customers It's faster, better, and a lot cheaper. We charge you less. Think about that excitement within the internal customer groups. Production, they're looking really at the money. Efficiency increase, you just saw what Magnus saw on the simulation part of things. Now there's one dirty little secret on simulation. It just consumes amazing amounts of power. I mean, HPC clusters are really expensive, and typically they're in two states. Too small when you want to simulate, and too big if you don't want to simulate. You're never on target. Now imagine doing that on the cloud on demand. I've got an Italian automotive supplier who has these orders coming in. Once the order is in, once they're competing about a contract, they are all in on simulation, and the sky's the limit. Once they're done with it, they want to get rid of that as quickly as possible. So it's not only the CapEx versus OpEx, but it's also being very fast on that single contract that we want to win. Last but not least on the business model, and here I use an example from my own home. We got a water filtration system in the basement. You take out the calcium with some salt. And beforehand, it was a line item on the plumber's supply catalog. How exciting is that? Now those guys put in a little Unix server, which connects to the cloud, to the iPhone, and suddenly this device, this completely boring device, talks to me. Hey, get more salt. I'm running empty. Hey, put in a tab to disinfect the whole thing. But even better, there's a faucet dripping. So this thing becomes a friend in terms of like, hey, protecting my home. And guess what? I mean, I can buy the salt in a hardware store. Yes, and I can buy it actually on my iPhone app with a little click. The hardware store is 25 kilos, $6. On that, it's 10 kilos, $6. So think about the premium that they extract, and they're expanding into tabletop water filters, drinking bottles, caps. So from a boring line item in a plumber's workshop, they become a lifestyle brand that appeal to me. Okay, I'm a geek. But they really changed their business model, and by now they're actually sponsoring Formula One. Think about that. How cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely. All of a sudden, water faucets are cool and sexy too.
If they're not dripping, actually.
Now we've seen that the cloud has gained momentum in the recent years. How would you evaluate the appetite for cloud when it comes to engineering?
Well, let's say that way. I put that a little bit more pressure on the whole thing. I mean, appetite is a very nice thing. I mean, if you're deploying a large-scale system like SimCenter, like OpCenter, like Teamcenter, not considering a cloud deployment for your program, I would almost see it as a mistake. Sort of like a professional mistake. You have to do it. If you're not going into a large-scale deployment at this point in time, I'd still start right away. You can start with individual services. You can try out things. It's not a big upfront investment where you have to get the big iron. You start small and scale. The current times have shown that security, the scalability are key. And here cloud offers an advantage that most IT departments are challenged to meet. The security of the cloud providers by now is really setting the standard, and you want to do that in these times to be protective of your assets, of your data, of your product data. And last but not least, what we see as Accenture, cloud is not anymore one size fits all. Cloud is assembled in microservices. You can select a user service, a security service, a charging service. They're up for scale, for mega scale. But still try it out. Once it works, oof, off it goes. So at the end of the day, we work with our friends here from Siemens, with Microsoft and the others to build custom tailored offers for your customers, for your services, and therefore help your product development process and increase your competitive. For me, it's an exciting time working with this great software, getting it up and done in a few weeks instead of months and years.
And I guess with your tailored cloud offerings, you're absolutely in line once again with the customer requirements nowadays, which you find across all industries. Last question would be how far does cloud-powered product engineering reach in your view, and what does it all entail?
we try to sort it in two areas. One is the digital thread, which connects all the functions in your enterprise. From the idea, we need something new, over to R&D, manufacturing, installation, after-sales service, down to recycling, talking about circular economy. So think about this thread that goes across the whole development cycle. Yes, we have integrated systems like Siemens Teamcenter and all these other systems, but you still have an ERP system, you still have a customer service system, and so on and so forth. So you want to stitch them together per product family. The second dimension that we're now adding on top is what happens to product number 1, 2, 3 here? How often is that button being pressed? When does it fail? When does the battery go out? So suddenly you get an entire lab of thousands of pieces, and engineering, coming back to our target group, can get a real life visibility what's happening there in real life. And that is enabled by a lot of different cloud technologies. I mentioned HPC, microservice architectures, experiencing this whole thing with a 3-dimensional glass, and so on and so on. So in fact, you can really stitch it together and get it going. I think it has a pervasive impact on product engineering. It's time to explore it, time to go for it. We're in, and looking forward to talk to you all on that exciting area.
You're in, and you're obviously ready, just like Siemens is. And once again, Siemens on the way, once again, to offer everybody, all clients and manufacturers and all industries, basically higher sustainability, efficiency, and so forth. But we can't do it on our own. We have great partners like Accenture on our side to help us out with that. So thank you very much, Timo Sturm, for joining us.
Thank you.
Where can we find you, by the way?
We have our booth near this beautiful bluish kind of column where the bubbles go up. Right in the center, we have our colleagues showing Teamcenter, Ops Center, Sim Center on cloud.
So if anybody has any more questions, feel free to step up to you and just
Will do.
support. All right. Thank you very much, Timo. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.